Hey guys, it's me Courtney and welcome to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the new concealer from One Size Beauty. It is the Turn Up the Base Butter Silk Concealer. If you guys are new to my channel, first off, go ahead and subscribe. Second, the way that I like to do my reviews, I like to try products out for about a week or two to really get a feel for the product. So for this specific concealer, I used it with different powders, different foundations, different sort of techniques, just to see the best way to use this, especially if you're somebody like me who has dry skin and gets a little bit wrinkly under the eyes. So I'm gonna sort of put this concealer to the test. You guys are gonna see the demo, a wear test, all of that great stuff. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, then please continue to watch. This is what the actual packaging looks like. It has that red, it's like that metallic red that One Size Beauty does that I think it's pretty unique. Now it is $25 for 0.24 ounces. In comparison, we have the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Sculpting Concealer. This one is 0.5 ounces for $30. This concealer is a little bit more on the high coverage end of the spectrum. It is a little bit more emollient, so it doesn't necessarily dry down or anything like that. We also have the Rare Beauty Liquid Touch Concealer, and this one is 0.25 ounces for $19. It is a little bit more light coverage than the Too Faced or the Patrick Starrr one, but I do feel like you'd probably use more of this, if that makes sense. Now the One Size Turn Up the Base Concealer does come in 24 shades. I got the shade Medium Dark 1 and it's a golden undertone. Originally when I was looking online, I wanted, I think it was Medium Dark 3 if I'm not mistaken. That one was sold out online and in store, so I wasn't able to get that one, but this Medium Dark 1 does work for me. It's just a little bit brighter than what I was trying to go for. This concealer is supposed to be full coverage, matte, waterproof, long lasting, all that good stuff. It is a very, can y'all see that? Hopefully y'all can. Full coverage, very thick concealer. It does have a nice spreadability, as you can see, and you can see that it's super duper full coverage. It is one of those kind of stick and move concealers, so I would recommend doing like one section first and then blending it out and then doing the next section. In the times that I have tried to sort of let it sit to hold coverage, it does kind of stick there. You can still move it around a little bit, but then you kind of have to add a little bit more product to make it emollient again and then start moving it around. So with that being said, I'm gonna try to do one eye at a time, and I'm gonna put it right there and drag it right here. For me, this is the amount of coverage that I like to use, simply because, like I said, I do have those deep set dark circles. So I like to use enough concealer that it smooths it and then go in with a powder that kind of gives a little bit more coverage and smooths out this entire area. As you can see, when I'm patting, it's kind of already stuck there a little bit. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and try to move that along a little quicker, but it does stick a little bit, was the point that I was trying to make. Alright, so this is like one even layer. If you're somebody that doesn't have like a lot of bags and a lot of dark circles or anything like that, you can sort of stop here. I am gonna tap on just a little bit right here, simply because that is my problem area. For powder today, I'm just reaching for any powder. This is the Sasha Buttercup. I have not used this in forever. With concealer and powder. And that's with neither, so you can kind of tell the difference in what it does. You can sort of see those dark circles right there. Of course, you can see the indentation. With the powder and the concealer, it definitely smooths everything out in this area. It's not as defined right here. So it still actually looks like skin, so it doesn't look like a huge layer of like concealer under the eye. It doesn't feel heavy, it feels nice. I did do this concealer with a few different products, so I'm going to show you guys like everything what that looks like as well. So let me go ahead and finish my face and then we'll come back and finish talking. All right guys, so this is the look that we are going to be rocking today. Per usual, I'm gonna have everything in the description box below that's on my face today, as well as everything that I'm gonna show you in this video, like the different looks and stuff like that. So far, so good. We are looking nice, lifted, covered. That sort of indentation that I have sometimes is covered up. It's smooth, it's soft. I haven't had any problems with the powder sticking in odd ways or oxidizing or anything like that. It's smooth, it's buttery, just like it says. I'm not creasing at all in this eye. This one I have a little bit of creasing, but not to the point where it's sticking into the fine lines. It's just sort of sort of blurred in creasing, if that makes sense. But overall, everything looks really great, really put together. Full coverage. This is more of a full coverage concealer for sure. This is a concealer that does dry down slightly. It'll still have like an air of tackiness to it, so it is still movable once it starts to dry. You guys saw me blend it out, dab a little bit more on where needed, and blend it out again, and it still kind of meshes together really nicely instead of it looking like layered concealer where it dried down and then you put some on top and then that dried down as well. Like, it still blends really nicely. Now, I do want to show you guys a few different ways that I have tried it. When I initially tried this for the first time, I noticed that it literally kind of self-set, which I thought was pretty awesome. So I did want to try this with no powder at all, which I did do. I'm going to show you what that looks like at the beginning of the day. It has a nice glow to it, of course. There is a slight amount of tackiness that doesn't go away. And then it did begin to like break up a little. It kind of stuck in my creases and crevices a little bit early on. And as I mentioned, it like dries down, but it doesn't dry down like a flat matte. So it was still sticky, tacky. And my makeup overall to me did look a little bit undone, a little bit off. And then that sort of indentation that I have right there is a little bit more noticeable as well. It still looks somewhat undone to me. That could just be what I'm used to. Like, I'm used to like that sort of matte under eye. And it did end up sinking into those creases. So for me, this isn't necessarily something I would go without setting. Although I do believe if you're somebody that doesn't have like severe darkness under your eyes, if you're somebody that doesn't have severe lines, you could probably actually go without setting this. As I said, it does have a slight dry down to it. So the next way that I did want to try this concealer out was with the actual One Size Beauty setting powder. I bought this a while ago in translucent. I don't really wear this a lot simply because this is like a severe brightening slash, I don't know, lightweight, like a baking powder. So it does leave me a little bit ashier under the eyes than I like. But with that being said, by putting this with the concealer, I do feel like you do get a nice blurring effect. I do feel like it's a slight bit of a cakey feeling, the two of these together. I do feel like I still creased more than I should have. Like, I could still see those lines, and it felt like those lines were starting to drag out a little further, and it was like sinking into those creases and those fine lines, and it just, I wasn't here for that quite either. But to be fair, it is like a heavier powder. It does emphasize lines and textures and stuff. I just wanted to see if it works in conjunction well together. Again, if you're somebody that doesn't have severe under eye baggage, then this combo might be okay for you guys. Today I wore the Sasha Buttercup powder with it. Looks great, looks smooth, looks put together. And I'm not creasing at all like I was with the other ones, as you guys can see. For me, I do feel like all of the claims of this concealer are very accurate. So it is full coverage, buildable. I don't think you need to build it that much because it does off top add one nice easy layer. It works well with others. It works well with other powders. Not so much the One Size Beauty powder, but it works well with other powders. Works well with different foundations. Now with this concealer, I do get a slight amount of creasing sometimes. It's not like a consistent creasing all the time, but even in the creasing, there's still an air of like smoothness to the entire look, if that makes sense. So it's not to the point where I would never use this concealer again. I definitely would. I am going to show you guys what this looks like at the end of the day. It feels good, not too cakey, not bothersome on the skin unless you don't set it at all, for me personally. Now this is thicker than your average like Too Faced Born This Way concealer. However, it's not as thick as like your Tarte Shape Tape concealer, if that makes sense. Although I do feel like the Tarte Shape Tape isn't as creamy as this one. I feel like this one's a little bit smoother, spreads a little nicer, but they both are pretty thick. It is something that I would recommend if you're somebody who is looking for a fuller coverage concealer. This is definitely it. If you're somebody that likes lighter coverage under your eyes, I would definitely suggest the Pat McGrath concealer or the Armani Luminous Silk Concealer. Those are a little bit lighter of coverage. All right guys, that about does it for me. Hopefully this video was helpful, informative, all that great stuff. If so, please give me a thumbs up. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Share the video if it's in your heart to do so, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.